Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Mini Reviews. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Noel, better known to you as the Big D, back again with another mini reviews vid. Today I'm going to be giving to you three, yes, that's right, three mini reviews in one video. And the first two will be a couple of recent horror films from this past year and a brand new one that came out just more recently. Now, I watched all three of these today and what have you, so I'm going to plan to give you these reviews, and they will be spoiler free. So this way, I'm not going to give too much of the details, and well, and so forth. If you're ready, let's get started. Here's the first mini review. First up is The Pope's Exorcist, released by Screen Gems back in April of this year, starring Russell Crowe along with Daniel Zavallo, Alex Esso, and Franco Nero. It's a supernatural horror flick directed by Julius Avery from a screenplay by Michael Petroni and Evan Spilatopoulos, based on the 1990 book An Exorcist Tells His Story and the 1992 book An Exorcist More Stories by Father Gabriel Amorth. Starring now Russell, whom that's the character Russell Crowe plays. After they had bought the rights to the story 3 years ago. Now, it starts in 1987 when Father Amorth, the Pope's personal exorcist, an earthy, screw-around, humorous, practical man, visits an Italian village where a man is seemingly possessed by a demon. Well, apparently, while he exorcises the man that's possessed and what have you, it becomes an incident and soon gets Amorth in trouble. So he as soon as gets assigned to visit a young boy named Henry in Spain who is possessed now. And his mother Julia and rebellious teenage sister Amy had traveled from America to take possession of a mysterious old Spanish abbey, which Julia's husband so bequeathed to his family after he died in a car accident where Harry was present. And well, he hasn't spoken since the incident. And then the shocks go. Now, that's all I can give to you since this is a mini review. Now, my thoughts on the film, I am going to say it's fine and what have you. While this film kind of bombed at the box office here in the US, but however, it did better overseas. When it opened, it unfortunately only made $20 million here in the US and Canada, but it did better overseas with $56 million. It opened in second, losing to the Super Mario Bros. Movie. But anyway, the film's reviews were mixed and lively. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 48% saying that the film is standard issue holy horror in most respects, but its star's sanctified performance will be the answer to some viewers' prayers. Yes, well, I do agree and what have you. Well, Crowe's performance has received mixed reviews from the critics as well. Rolling Stone positively reviewed his performance, writing that Mr. Crowe brings an imposing physicality and winking charm to go with Amorth's gravity, whom of course Amorth died back in 2016, as we see a little bit of in memory of after the credits stop rolling, after we see the Screen Gems logo. That's just a slight little heads up. But that's not a real spoiler, though. Now, anyway, the story's fine, what have you. The score done by Jed Kurzel was fun. Now, for the cast, I think Russell Crowe wasn't too bad as Father Amorth. He did fine, what have you. Daniel Zaval played Father Esquivel, and Alex Esso played Julia. Franco Nero played the Pope. Now we have young Pierre de Sousa Fehoni playing Henry, and Laurel Marsden playing Amy. So they were fine, what have you. So overall, the Pope's Exorcist, I'm gonna say, well, it might not hold a candle to some other Exorcist films, especially The Exorcist. I still think it's an alright film and what have you. It was kind of pretty shocking in some parts though, and that's one thing that makes this a pretty decent watch. I watched the film on Netflix. The film's currently on Netflix. You can check out if you subscribe to Netflix. Check out there. Now, for my score, I give The Pope's Exorcist 3.5 stars. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving it a 7. Next mini review, please. The next main review is on The Boogeyman, released by 20th Century Studios back in June of this year. Directed by Rob Savage, written by Scott Beck, Brian Woods, and Mark Heyman, whom Beck and Woods wrote the story together, based on Stephen King's 1973 short story of the same name. Starring Sophie Thatcher, Chris Messina, Vivian Lara Blair, and David Dastmalchian. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. If I did, I apologize. Now then, well, this also did get mixed reviews, and it didn't quite do too well at the box office here in the U.S. either. Well, maybe not factually bad. It did a little better than The Pope's Exorcist. Let's get into it a little bit as I know the story. Well, the Harper family, sisters Sadie and Sawyer, and their therapist father Will are struggling to overcome the death of their mother and wife, who died suddenly in a car crash. And one day, a disturbed man called Lester Billings visits Will's office, and Lester explains that his 3 children have died, all killed by an evil entity that latched onto his family. A disbelieving Will goes to call the police, but Lester slips away and Sadie finds his body hanging in her mother's art closet. And soon afterwards, Sadie notices a strange mold beginning to form around the house, while Sawyer glimpses at, a sinister creature under her bed. This creature continues to terrorize her while Sadie suspects the phenomenon is related to Lester's suicide. She visits the Billings rundown house, and inside she discovers Rhea, the now unhinged wife of Lester. Rhea identifies the creature as the Boogeyman, the culprit behind her children's deaths. The creature feeds off fear and can mimic voices. The only way to ward it off is by light. Feeling unsafe around Rhea, Sadie flees. Well, that's how it turns out and what have you. But again, I will not be giving this whole story because this is the main review. It really takes a real shocking turn, what have you, when they encounter the Boogeyman. Especially, later on, Sadie and soon Sawyer. But anyway, yeah. I am going to say it was fine and what have you. It wasn't really one of the best adaptations of a Stephen King story, but overall, it was 50-50, okay and good in ways, but not great though. Anyway, the film did make 43 million here in the U.S., which just 4 million more than it did overseas. It went on to make 82 million worldwide. It currently sits at 61% on Rotten Tomatoes, saying the film might fall short of its terrifying source material, but a spooky atmosphere and some solid performances help keep the chills coming. I agree. I like its spooky atmosphere, and that's really good. And the cast performances weren't too bad, but the characters could have just used a little more later on. But anyway, Sophie Hatcher playing Sadie, she was very good. Chris Messina played Will. Vivian Lyra Blair played Sawyer. She was good. David Dastmalchian, if again, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, played Lester Billings. And everyone else wasn't too bad. But anyway, its reviews again were mixed and what have you. Now, The Hollywood reports that the film mostly works thanks to the expertly calibrated atmospherics and memorable visual style, and the committed performances of a very talented cast. Definitely. Anyway, but yeah, again, it's fine and what have you. Now, this was originally to be planned to be released on Hulu, but well, Disney opted for a theatrical release first, following positive test screenings. Now, of course, the film is currently now streaming on Hulu. You can check it out and what have you. And well, overall, the Boogeyman's fine and what have you. It's just kind of a mixed bag and what have you, but it does have a good spooky atmosphere and what have you. And the cast isn't too bad. Their characters are well fine, well are good and fine later on, but that's about all I can say. And the score is done by Patrick Johnson, so that's pretty good too. We do get to hear a few pretty good songs in here too. So the Boogeyman, it's not too bad. My score for this, I give the Boogeyman 3 stars. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 6.5. Next review, please. And now the third and final mini review in this vid, and that will be the just now released, well, actually more recently released black comedy slasher flick, Totally Killer, which was released through Prime Video by MGM through their collab together to form Amazon MGM Studios. Directed by Nachaka Khan. If I mispronounced that name, I apologize. Nachaka, I'm sorry. From a screenplay by David Malon, Sasha Pearl Raver, and Jen D'Angelo, from a screenplay by Malon Pearl Raver. Now, the film follows a girl named Jamie who, after her mother's friends are murdered by the Sweet 16 killer on Halloween, travels back in time to 1987, where she pairs up with her mother to stop the young would-be killer and return to her timeline before she's trapped in the past forever. Now, of course, this film made its premiere last month at Fantastic Fest, just not so long ago, and then a week ago on October 6th, it got released on Prime Video. And let me tell you, this film was a blast. I actually thought the story was pretty good and what have you. This made me feel like you were seeing some of those time traveling black comedy slasher, kind of like a mix of the Happy Death Day films and Back to the Future rolled into one, but except in a more bloodier way and what have you. Now, Jason Blum, under the Blumhouse television banner, took part in producing, and Adam Hendricks and Greg Gilreath under their banner of Divide Conquer, which they recently worked on Blumhouse's big hit from earlier this year, Megan. Anyway, I thought the atmosphere was just so incredible. It sang in the 80s. I think it was just so much fun. Now, its reviews are very good and what have you. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 86%, saying that the film may not take full advantage of its promising conceit, but this time-traveling horror sci-fi mashup is still enjoyable overall. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Absolutely loved it and what have you. It was very good. Now then, as for our performances of the cast, playing Jamie is Kiernan Shipka, who most of you may remember her from the former Netflix series, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, whom she, of course, played the titular character, the dark version of everyone's favorite teenage witch. Now, we have Julie Bowen, who I remember her from Happy Gilmore and American Werewolf in Paris, which I still have to review that film. Played the adult version of her mother, Pam Hughes, and Olivia Hope played the teenage version of her. Playing Blake Hughes is Lachlan Monroe, who you may remember from Scary Movie and Freddy vs. Jason. Oh yeah, he was in Day Camp as well. He played Blake Hughes, and Charlie Gillespie played the teenage version of him. Kimberly Huey played Lauren Creston, and Troy L. Johnson played the teen one. Now, let me see now. Yeah. Anyway, now let me get back into a little bit. A quick briefing on the story. It takes place in the small town of Vernon, October 27th, 29th, and 31, 1987. Three teenage girls named Tiffany Clark, Marissa Song, and Hannah Hernandez were respectively killed by the Sweet 16 killer, each having been stabbed 16 times on the nights of their 16th birthdays. Well, and Jamie goes to a concert with her friend Amelia on Halloween night while Mary Pam stays at home. But she used to be friends with the three victims of the Sweet 16 killer. And soon she's attacked and killed by it. That's all that bit of the story I'll tell you. Now, Liana Liberal played Tiffany, Kelsey Mawema played Amelia, Steffi Chinsalvo played Marissa, and Anna Diaz played Heather. So I'm gonna say those performances are pretty good. I think a lot of the other cast members are not too bad either. They were pretty gosh darn funny and what have you. I gotta say, it was incredible. So, anyway, I think Totally Killer. This was definitely a fun film flick. If you like the Happy Death Day movies, then I'd say you'll feel right at home with Totally Killer because even though that, unlike those films, this is rated R and what have you. Since it's a mix of those two movies with Back to the Future rolled into one, in my opinion, I say this is definitely worth a watch. And it's got a score from Michael Andrews, which is good. You get to hear some pretty good songs, and a lot of good 80s songs as well. So anyway, Totally Killer is definitely worth looking into. For my score, I'm going to give Totally Killer 4 stars. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it an 8.5. So there you have it. There's my mini reviews. What did you think of these 3 films? Tell me what you thought about these films. You can tell me about what you thought about the Pope's Exorcist, or your thoughts on the Boogeyman or Totally Killer, or you can tell me your thoughts on all 3 of them. Leave them for me in the comment section below. If you like the video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a review of Jordan Peele's big hit flick from 2017, Get Out. So I do hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, consider checking out my reviews for some of these other films. That are kind of similar to those. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of the classic itself, The Exorcist from 1973. Or if you would like maybe something from Blumhouse, go to the upper right-hand corner and see my spoiler-free review of Megan from earlier this year. Or if you'd like another slasher, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my re-review of Friday the 13th Part 2 from 1981. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.